I chose to take my diploma in educational technology because I put a great deal of importance on the development of digital skills. This generation of students will be existing in a world that is as much digital as it is not. Students need to be comfortable learning and working online to be successful in the future. When I collaborate with my peers and the discussion of e-learning comes up, it is obvious that e-learning looks very different to each of us. To some, e-learning is having students complete web quests or type essays. For others, e-learning means making use of the collaborative and interactive opportunities that technology can offer. So where am I? Before starting this program, I felt like I had a good handle on integrating technology into my classes. Now that I've had the opportunity to read about what others are doing through text and discussions and how technology can be used most effectively, I realize I still have room to grow. I have a classroom website and make regular use of Google Apps for Education. I create one-off assignments like digital breakout rooms and web quests, and I have a school Twitter page so others can see the cool stuff we are doing in class. I also teach and encourage students to be creative online through coding and animation. In the future, I would like to use technology less as an add-on to regular class activities and more as a tool to push learners to challenge themselves in a way that could not be done in the regular classroom. I would like the online portion of my classroom to look very different than the physical. This will require me to make some changes in my instructional design. I would like to include an online discussion component to my classroom so students can collaborate outside of the class and students who have problems speaking out in class have another option. I would like to use a combination of specific and open-ended questions to ensure students are staying on task while giving them the opportunity to explore. I want to create more interactive learning activities online, but do not yet have the skills. I have been attending technology professional development as often as possible and am slowly gaining the skills I need. I would like to start incorporating online inquiry-based learning lessons to my classes as well. With the development of technology in education comes new strategies for differentiation. Students and teachers have more options than ever to present information in a number of different ways. With classrooms becoming more and more diverse in learning styles and abilities, technology allows us to individualize learning while still supporting collaboration. In Unit 2, we discussed providing context in lessons. I value the time we spent looking into context because it is something I strive to include in my lessons. I have students ask me, what is the point of this? When will we ever use this on a regular basis? And feel that students are more engaged when they see the value in what they are learning. In order to make our context effective, we discussed making it meaningful, motivational, and memorable. If a context is not meaningful to the student, they will not see the value in learning. If it is not motivational, students may not feel the need to challenge themselves, and if it is not memorable, students may not carry the lesson with them as they move on. It was in this unit that I found the discussions most helpful because I sometimes struggle to come up with contexts that are meaningful to my students. The suggestions from my classmates will be a great help and resource to me in the future. For example, I hope to include gamification and social media elements in my class in coming years. Even in a traditional classroom, it is challenging to find a balance between direct instruction and inquiry-based learning. It was interesting to see the different perspectives on teaching presence during Unit 4. I think there's a general consensus that a healthy combination of both strategies, allowing for the building of independent learning, is quite effective. My provincial Department of Education is currently reworking middle school curriculums and putting more emphasis on inquiry-based learning. While I'm not a middle school teacher, I am trying to prepare myself because I'm sure it's on the way to the high school. I'm excited that I have learned a variety of teaching skills that will help me bring inquiry-based learning into my classroom. One concept I came across during my reading is peer teaching. I am all about collaborative learning in my classroom and allowing students to help each other. Peer teaching really expands on that. The article I read suggests combining peer teaching with inquiry-based learning to allow students to teach their peers based on their strengths and interests. When discussing technology in education, for every benefit there is an obstacle. What works flawlessly in one class might be impossible in another. The obstacles we face are unique to our individual situations, but through discussion in courses like this one, we're able to find others who face the same obstacles. One obstacle that stands out in my classroom is the digital divide. I live in an economically diverse area. Some students own their own phone, computer, and tablet, while others don't have access to the internet at all. I feel that I cannot send home any online work because of this. This course allowed me the opportunity to explore with other students some solutions for the digital divide in my school. Some things we came up with include helping to direct students to public access sites, collecting old cell phones and tablets that continue to have Wi-Fi access, and advocating for better access for students. In order to be an effective teacher, it is important to be continuously evaluating your practices. One way to do this is through collecting feedback from students. In a regular classroom, I collect feedback all the time. I watch body language of my students, I check in with them to make sure they are learning, and I have informal conversations with them about what is working and what is not. This is more challenging in an online learning environment. Instead, a teacher can collect formal evaluations from students, but this is usually done at the end. Throughout the course, I think it is important for teachers to use what students are saying in discussions as a form of feedback. They can determine if students are engaging in the course and understanding the content and react accordingly. At the end of every course, no matter if you are the teacher or the learner, it is time for reflection. As teachers, we must reflect on what we did that worked, what didn't, and what could use some upgrading. As students, we must reflect on what we learned and how it applies to our life outside the classroom. I want to thank you for following along over the past few minutes while I did just that.